Well, good morning, fellow judges and fellow JCI members. I guess I'll just start off my speech by saying, imagine me about a week ago in front of a blank piece of paper and staring outside my window. And I can guarantee you that this was not the kind of weather that I was looking at. I guess what I saw back then was wind howling, trees shaking all over the place, and it was pouring rain on a cold and miserable weekday afternoon. And of course, the irony of all this was, the question I was trying to answer was, what was so great about living in Ireland? So I really had to take a step back and think to myself of all the things that make living here so worthwhile. So I'd like to start with the weather, of course, because my colleague Janice has certainly laid the groundwork for that. And of course I have friends, Irish friends in fact, that will say in a lot more colorful terms than the ones I will use here, their frustration with this great wet lifestyle. But I pause for a second and would like to think that maybe there's something good about it after all. The way I see it is that maybe there is something positive about this weather. And of course we may not like it, but what has that pushed us to do? So, well, for one thing, the Irish are the masters of the indoors. Whether it's the pubs, or the theatres, or any similar settings, you know that in Ireland, inside, you will always find a very welcoming atmosphere. The weather can be whatever it wants to be outside, but inside is where many things come to life. And I use the pub as an example because, well, I can't think of a better place to have a conversation, to share stories, jokes, anecdotes. It's the kind of place that is enjoyed by virtually everybody around the world. And really the question becomes, if it is so enjoyable, if it is something that is so appreciated, why would we go anywhere else to live this sort of experience when we have the best of them here at home? I guess my time is ticking away, so I'll just move on to another subject here, which is the social factor. I guess there's something to be proud to know that Irish people are reputed for being friendly, for having a sense of humor, for having a nonchalant attitude towards life. Yes, of course, the weather is not the favorite thing for most people, but it is something that we all have in common. It's something that we can laugh at or despise, but yet we all have something to talk about. It brings us together. If you think how, while we're talking about how we'd like to be into all these other sunnier destinations, whether it's Spain or Greece or what have you, think that in there is another advantage. Living in Ireland means that you have access to a wide variety of airlines and destinations, usually at reasonable prices. And, well, while we can talk about all these sunny trips, it makes it so much better that we can do this when it's raining outside. It just puts everything into perspective, like we were saying earlier. I'd like to think even that there's a very good thing about the rain, because if you think how much of the world is deserted, congested urban area, prone to so many natural disasters, like we just mentioned Haiti just now. And yet, it's a very comforting thought to think that in Ireland, the only thing you need to worry about is bringing a brolly. I think there's something to rejoice about, that you have a country that is so beautiful and so green and so clean. And I'll just end my point in saying that, well, Ireland has a wonderful culture, one to share with the rest of the world and one that has attracted the rest of the world. If you think how many people have come to Ireland from everywhere else, like Janice has said as well, it's a very international culture, but people have chosen to come here, whether it's to learn English or acquire work experience. You have an amazing mix of people here, and if you need proof of that, you just need to look around you. Within this very JCI, you have people from all over Ireland and from all over the world, really, that are here together and happy to be here in Ireland. So I think that the things that make living here so great sometimes are the ones that are maybe not so obvious. Of course, this is a rainy country and a small country, but it is a beautiful country after all. No city is too big that you don't get to meet anyone or get to know anyone. No city is too far away from each other that you can't travel to within a day. You have an amazing social culture, one to share with the rest of the world and one that the world enjoys. And I think finding that balance is a very rare privilege. Ireland is a small country, but after all, maybe these are the things that make it so great.